Welcome to the Hat to the Back podcast. It's your host, known to do the most, D Tall. This is a kingdom platform. God first over everything, family, funds after that. But man, we are excited. We got an extra special episode today because of our guest. We have let me make sure like I nail this intro. We are talking magician, illusionist, speaker, man of God, brother in Christ. He's all these things, uber talented. Give it up for Josh Farley.
Man, D, I don't know how to follow up that intro, but man, thank you so much for bringing me on. It's an honor. I mean, I didn't expect it, right, when you reached out to me, and so truly, I'm just stoked to be here and grateful that you'd have me be here, man.
For
So,
sure,
thank
brother.
you.
We are uber excited to have you on the platform, man. Like, you are extremely talented. You channel humility, the art of being humble. You know, I can't say like if I've been on TV, you know, to the capacity that you have, maybe, you know, I wouldn't be as humble. But
I think that's just that's God, man, and in a painful way, because I couldn't say that I would always like if I feel like it's almost anti-humble to speak to my humility, but but that was not always the case. After being on TV, definitely had those periods of feeling that and not liking it, and then pushing into that relationship with God more and knowing why and giving him more, which then set me back on the outside in ways. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I appreciate that because it's something I strive to be.
yeah, no, that's good. Okay, can you tell me this? Is there a season that you can point to where you were not so humble? Like you know what? During that season, I was kind of feeling myself. Like I felt like, you know, I was that guy. Have you had one of those seasons?
A couple, yeah. I can think of two. One is like around my senior year of high school, and I can go into detail about that. Like I was homeschooled more or less up until my freshman year of high school. First public experience with 300 kids in my class. Like not a huge school, but not homeschooled.
Right.
And so that freshman year was tough. And then my senior year, I was like, oh man, I'm doing these huge grand illusions at our talent show, and I've got all these girls that are interested in me, and I was bullied as a freshman. So I go from wanting to be cool to senior year, like I've got all this attention, and I was active. I was like academic, was trained to run a marathon, was doing tennis. Not that
Oh, you were that guy.
I was that
You were
guy.
that guy. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I get it. Respect.
So that was one of them, and then right after Fool Us, the taping of Penn and Teller Fool Us, the CW show. First time in my life that I mean, my notifications on socials were maxed out. I'd answer them because I was like, oh, that's the right thing to do. And then the next day they're maxed out, and just like this turnover. I literally had people in my hometown, like there was a car with a person that I didn't recognize the person. They slammed on their brakes, rolled down their window, was like, Penn and Teller Fool Us? Like it was a bigger deal back in 2019. And like I was recognized and just on the street, like.
What does that mean to you
Back then,
now? Back then and now, what does that mean to you?
back then it was power. It was the high. It was the I want to be the Chris Angel, David Blaine, David Copperfield. That was the bar. And now I realize, like, I look at everyone that I just mentioned, with the exception of like Blaine's cool. Matt Franco is cool. He headlines the Link at he won America's Got Talent. But as far as having mentors and leadership and people I look up to, I realized real quick that that level was not something that I it made certain people miserable. It's isolating. No one understands what that feels like unless you're there. And there's only two people that I know, people that push into it and continue to chase just being seen, and people that chase into the thing that got them there to begin with. And it's still lonely for them. The sweet and humble people, it's still lonely.
Oh man, as I'm listening to that, like obviously I can relate on the music front. That high that you get, it's never high enough. You know what I mean? And like what that turns into, at least in my experience, is high highs and low lows. You know, like really high highs and really low lows. I don't know if that was, you know, your experience, but when you get that sniff or that taste of the drug, right? Man, you want to go back and revisit it. But you know, my personal opinion on the matter is just at the end of the day, like it can turn into a hamster wheel because you're always going to look for that next version, right? I remember it being like the first time I got radio spins in Dallas, it was like, okay, man, that was a big deal. I was excited. Then it's like, why aren't we getting spins in Oklahoma City? And then when we got spins in Oklahoma City, it was like, man, like I'm from Texas. We don't have Houston. So then we had to do Houston. And it's never ending. Oh, why are we still in Texas? And then you go somewhere else. And it's just this constant rush. And you're trying to fill this void that only God could fill, right?
But going to the art specifically, I think it's so cool what you're talking about now is like the first time you got spins here, it's like, well, why'd you make that art to begin with, right? To touch the people here. And then your mind starts playing these tricks of like, oh man, we gotta hit Oklahoma City. And now all of a sudden, and maybe it's not that first city, but somewhere along the process, it doesn't become about those people that are listening to that thing that you created to touch people to begin with. I mean, you switched from secular to a kingdom platform for a reason, because you have a message to give to people, right? I don't know if I'm
yeah,
am
no,
I
you're
touching
nailing it.
on
You're
it,
nailing
right?
it. You're nailing it. That's good.
Yeah. So what you switched over to begin with, I see it so much in the Christian realm. It then just becomes the views and the how many people can raise their hand versus having a true transformation experience. And let's make the numbers so we can get the numbers to get bigger numbers, and that's the hamster wheel.
Yeah, it truly is. Why do you believe in God?
I had an experience. I was raised Christian, went to church, and like, it was just something we did. But we moved from upstate New York to Missouri, and we had a small like family group that was really kind of perpetuated it for me through high school. But ran into a little bit of hypocrisy and a little bit of betrayal, and kind of being kicked out of that. And for a little bit I said, if this is Christianity, I want nothing to do with this. If I'm going to be treated this way. And
What do you do to keep yourself from not being the individuals that made you feel that way about the kingdom?
I operate I don't go to church that often. I pray every day. I read my Bible. I approach all of it differently, rightly or wrongly. I don't The thing that hurt me so much in that was um, a religiosity and people saying something and as I actually started to read into the scriptures, like gossip is something God hates, like slander is something God hates,
Yes.
lying is something that God hates. And the biggest betrayals to me were lying and gossiping and slandering and me just being a high school kid trying to figure all this out. I mean, I ran as far away from the church as I could back then because these people that I thought were very real, once I actually started to struggle, once I was just a little harder to love, oh, you know.
Mm. Man, like that alone is whew, that's you just hit a nerve. So with what you're describing as far as like seeing these people within the kingdom, you think like this is the time when you're gonna surely put all of that to work. Then you're not sort of feeling like that void. Like what does that do to a person that thinks that when community is should be present, it's not there like that? I would think that would take a toll on you and probably, pull you away from the fold altogether.
Yeah, I said if this is Christianity, I want nothing to do with it at all. Um, and I question now whether or not I was really Christian back then because in a lot of ways I experienced my Christianity through that community, and 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 so yeah, it completely it destroyed my religion at the time. It destroyed my faith at the time. I'm glad it destroyed the religion. I'm glad it destroyed um the this is the box that I need to look like this in order to be a Christian.
Would you say you're more spiritual than religious?
Now, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the difference to you?
Well, so so religious. When I refer to it back then, it's uh, the thing I'm referring to in the religiosity is that just by going to church every Sunday, by going to Bible study every Sunday, by serving on the church, those aren't that serving doesn't necessarily mean that you're serving him. You might be
Mm.
serving yourself by doing all these things there's a lot of manipulative people in any community, and just because you're serving the church doesn't mean you're serving God, and so it's that type of hypocrisy that really kind of kept me away from the church. What I think spiritual is now is literally Holy Spirit. Like it's relationship. It's the gospel. It's like Jesus died for our sins to be rose again so that his spirit may lay upon this earth. We have access now that didn't exist before. And so when people talk about a relationship, it's like, oh, well, we'll test the spirit. What is the spirit? It is love. It is joy. It is joy. It's
Hmm.
patience. It's kindness. It's goodness. It's gentleness. It's self-control. Those are the things. I did a study about the seven deadly sins. I was going to do a show about it, and I was shocked to find out that's not in the Bible.
Where did that come from?
Dante's Inferno wrote a book about it. Like,
Wow. Uh, I can't remember exactly how long ago this sermon was, but our pastor at Social Dallas was talking about all the things that you hear all the time, and you think they're in the Bible. It's like, man, that's not even in there. That's just something that people say and continue to repeat, like the telephone game. Gets
yeah,
weird.
it's just a popular book. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them are sins, but when you look at, because it shook me when I was like, oh, the spirit is made up of these things. God is love. So genuine love literally is him. That's wild. And the things that he hates are a lying tongue, prideful eyes. It's in Proverbs. The things that he despises, the things that he hates the most are prideful eyes, a lying tongue, someone that sows dissension among brothers, people that, those people that are like always trying to stir up drama and to bring people apart so they can get closer or whatever their reasons are.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that those are viewed or mentioned in the text, even if it's metaphorically, because those things drive me crazy, right? I think that I don't know if this is the right platform, even this is the hat to the back to say what I'm about to say, but one of the things that was a wedge in my relationship with my mom was just that, like that gossip component, right? And I had never even knew that that's something that's like within scripture as a no-no. I just knew that it didn't feel right to me that, you're saying this about this person and they're not around and I love that person as well. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that, I've never been a fan of. So when I found out that that was sinful nature, I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? So,
and more like it's in Proverbs as these are the things God hates most. And those are the things that are in the church the most is people that gossip and, the little white lies. And that's what I mean by religiosity is, creating this, somehow the Western church has kind of gone, we focus on certain sins, but we don't focus on these are the things God hates most.
Yeah. Oh, man. So I'm going to come with a unique angle to something, right? I'm going to tell a story. Try to be fairly quick. Tell a story, but I'm going to tie this to something that you hold near and dear to you. And I want to get some feedback from you on this. So I'm boarding this flight one day, right? And get on the flight. I'm sitting in the exit row. Girl comes on after me. Hey, I'm in that seat by the window, basically. Okay, I move. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing okay. Typical back and forth as you're preparing to fly or whatever. So me and this individual, me and this woman are having a conversation, and it's getting to the point where it's like, I kind of like this person. Like, she's really cool. This may be one of those flights where I don't put on my headphones and just zone out, like I'll kind of converse or whatever. But anyway, as we're having this conversation and we take off, it's like, hey, what do you do? And I kind of speak to it a little bit, and, same thing, vice versa. And she was like, wait a minute. So what do you talk about in your music? And I was just like, well, right now or in the past? And she's like, oh, it's changed. Yeah, it's changed significantly. I was like, I used to do this kind of music, but now I do music for the kingdom or whatever. So she was like Christian hip hop? And I'm like, yes, like Christian hip hop or whatever. If you got to put it in a box. And she was just like, you believe in that stuff? You believe in magic? And in that moment, I was like, whoa, I had never heard it packaged like that. I'm like, do I believe in magic? And she's like, yeah, I mean, like, I just don't believe that, there's this genie in the sky that's puppeteering everything that's going on, and people that believe in God, that's essentially what you're saying. She's like, I control what happens to me. My hard work determines where I land. There's not some being out there that is a part of any of this. Like, it's science, and I was just like, whoa, it kind of like, sent me, so to speak. So anyway, we're on the flight. We had that conversation. I was like, yes, I guess in that case, I do believe in magic. You know what I mean? I believe in God. We are made in God's image and blah, blah, blah. And it kind of irritated her. So she was like, put her headphones on, and it just kind of got quiet. I'm looking that way. She's looking the other way. And then boom, we hit this turbulence. And when we hit this turbulence, everybody's kind of like freaking out, right? And so the plane is just shaking. It's shaking. It's shaking. It's shaking. And it's to the point now where I'm like, man, is this it? Do I need to like try to communicate, with the girls? Like, man, this is crazy. And so it feels like we're going down almost, right? Crazy turbulence. And then boom, we hit another pocket. And I'm like, either we just hit a mountain or like what just happened. And she says, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Wait a minute. Not the magic. Did you wait a minute? No. So anyway, more turbulence. Captain gets on the intercom thing and is like, hey guys, I'm sorry. We hit some bad weather. If you're not okay, talk to the flight attendants. We should be clear for landing and blah, 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 blah. Right. So everything smooths out. We land, and right before we started leaving the plane, I couldn't help myself. I couldn't resist. I was just like, hey, when we were going through that stuff on the flight, you said something and kind of made my eyebrows go up. You called a name like when we thought that was the end. You said a name. You said Jesus. You said Jesus Christ. Where does that come from? Because you had referred to it as magic. So where does that come from? What do you think she said?
I mean, I'm sure she just
Not a thing. Not a thing.
Yeah.
She just kind of rolled her eyes or whatever. But I thought it was just kind of funny. And the reason I wanted to lead with that is you are an amazing magician. You are just uber talented. And I'm a fan, but I want to know, based off of, what society may say when, magic, she referred to that in that situation I just described as, magic and God, and it's maybe can it play in the same space? Can it play in the same space? Does it interfere? Is this something that you've come across at any point, like as a magician, like people that maybe can't wrap their mind around, like you're a man of God, you're a believer, and you're vocal about it, but you do magic? Is magic counter Christ? Like, these are all things, like, I feel like if anybody could, speak to it, you can, right? I don't know what that may look like through your eyes.
Yeah, that's a super interesting question. I mean, the first thing is there's a language barrier with magic and miracles. Going to the spirituality thing, I think part of why I still have just such a strong faith is I see things that are only important to me, that are like magic to me in my life when I need that. I'm given miracle, like that's part of the relationship of, like, because I have studied magic and deception and as an art form. It's like playing an instrument. It's a deck of cards it's like a piano. But there's a big difference between magic, sorcery, and the occult, which is why we get a bad rap sometimes, because the Bible says magic's bad. Well, it's sorcery, it's the occult, it's demonic, sort of like, witchcraft. And there's people out there, like anything, there's people out there that think that pulling a bunch of scarves out of your mouth is witchcraft. And at that point, it just kind of helps the PR.
Yeah.
It's like, no, if you're good at your pulling bunnies out of the hat, no longer it doesn't look like you're pulling bunnies out of a hat anymore. Whoa, that is great. But there's not a conflict for me. it's so different. One is just
Fair.
playing an instrument.
That's fair. Have you ever thought that when you meet somebody, right? Say they don't know who Josh Farley is. When you speak to what you do for a living, are you saying that and is there ever any like worry that maybe they won't receive it well? Maybe if you're a master of deception and I'm a woman and you're coming after me, well, if he's good at deception, like, can I trust him? You know what I mean? Like, have you come across any challenges with like dating as a magician?
Yeah. And I always think about that. And what's interesting about the show that I built, so this is an ethical question, and there's ethics of magic, which is kind of crazy, but it's an ethical question, is that I refrain from lying to the audience. When people go to a magic show, they know that they're there to be tricked and deceived. But my message behind the effects that I perform and the overall story, that's what I'm communicating. You know, if I flip over something that's not what it actually is, I say that it's a trick. Everyone knows that there's a magic trick somewhere in there, and there's gonna be these tiny little like I'm gonna be lying about the thing I don't want you to see in with the cards or whatever.
Right.
Like, but when I talk about my life, or when I talk about things that actually matter, things that are important, I do overcorrect. I want to be understood, but integrity is an extremely important thing to me because of that, you know? Because, people don't trust me until they know my character. And that's why my character is more important than a magic trick. And with dating, it's something that has to be gotten over, but it's hopefully at this point more of a non-issue, in the sense that what I perform it's like performing a song. They're routines. They're set routines. I don't just do jazz. There's plenty of magicians that do jazz, but
Right.
and I can do a little leg, but it's a performance art, and I had to find that. I had to figure that character and that routine out. That's based on me, but it
Do magicians have groupies?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask because I mean, like, seeing the show and seeing the reactions, it's not far off, from when we have shows as artists or whatever. So, I was just wondering, do you guys have?
Yeah, people will.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah,
Fair.
send out messages and ask for signed cards or whatever. And some people I'll mail signed cards to, and develop like friendships with some people. But I mean,
Have you ever had like a super fan? It doesn't got to be like a negative component to it, but just a super fan, like somebody that's like really like I love your art.
that shows up to every single show, that sends me like some messages and says, "Hey, I saw this thing that reminded me of this thing that you did," and we don't have relationship outside of they saw a magic show and connected really well to it.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a handful of people that react that way, and are go to every show. And
Yeah. Like what does that feel like?
I mean, it's people. People are people are people. You know, they have their own life, and they care about their family, and they care about their dog, and you treat them like just it's weird. It's a different type of relationship. It's not a relationship that people that aren't in entertainment typically get to experience. But it's probably similar to a boss and like someone. I don't I don't know how to relate it to someone outside entertainment, but there's two to me. If you're the artist that people feels that way about, there's two ways you can approach it. You can either be like, "Oh yeah, I'm awesome," or you can be like, they're a person that appreciates the art. Thank you. Like this, we're not gonna be best buddies, but like, you know, you're a human being.
Oh,
Like I'm
that's
gonna
funny.
treat you with dignity.
Right. No, that's good. That's good. I don't know. Like it's funny just now when you were talking about like how I can either be like, yeah, like I am awesome, or you take the humble route. Um, this was more barbershop talk, but we were having the Michael Jordan versus LeBron conversation, and I was forced to say that Jordan is my GOAT because he is. He's like one of the greatest, and it's hard to put LeBron in that category because I just don't think like on the court he was as much of a killer. But if we're doing the man versus the basketball player, it's definitely LeBron. Shout out to LeBron, the double O, OH10 stand up. But yeah, I definitely would put LeBron over Jordan as the man, just based off of like what he does like in the community and stuff he should be applauded for just as a family man. Like you've been the face of the National Basketball Association for 20 plus years and you don't have crazy stories of, domestic situations with your wife or in the nightlife doing crazy stuff like run-ins with like the police, like just none of that stuff. So he's definitely taking that route of what you described in terms of awesome versus, I'm appreciative. I respect you. You respect me. You're a fan of mine or whatever. I don't know why that sent me in that direction, but it was just something that was a barbershop conversation like recently.
That's interesting. Yeah, I have friends that are talent bookers and they run into celebrities all the time. I have a friend that does VIP tours at Disney and so meets celebrities all the time. And I've consistently heard, no matter the name, household name, hot or cold, they're either like really standoffish or they're warm and genuine. And makes me think of like the Bill Murray stories. Have you heard of those? Okay, so Bill Murray, like, I don't know if he
This is
just
when you meet him like in person outside of.
no, this is off the wall type stuff. Like what he does, he not just when you meet him, but like if he's in a public place, like he's a few of these, like he'll walk up to someone at a urinal, get right behind them and say, "They'll never believe you." And just like so like imagine telling your family Bill Murray just walked up to me behind me and whispered in my ear, "They'll never believe me."
While I was taking a piss.
Yeah. That's just a random one. My favorite, so two real quick ones. One, he walked into a bar. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I bartend?" Doesn't matter who came up, he would just pour them a shot of something. And people would just be like, "Oh, it's Bill Murray. That's cool." And then my favorite story is he went to someone's after party after something and he just played tambourine all night. You're Bill Murray and you're playing tambourine in this jam band at a house party.
It's a vibe. Shout out to Bill Murray.
Some kids, yeah, cops come, right? Because it's getting too loud. And the guy who owns the house opens the door and they're like, "You have to shut this down." They're like, "Okay, Bill Murray's playing tambourine. You can tell him, but I can't tell him." And then the cops stayed and hung out and the whole night just
And it was cool.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a story. Never heard that. Is Bill Murray like near the top as far as like people in that space? Who's your favorite comedian?
Right now, I like Nate Bargatze. I don't even know if I'm saying his last name right, but Nate Bargatze.
Nate Bargatze. I'm not even familiar, so you got to put me on. Is he more stand up?
He's a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
different space than Bill Murray.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, comedian wise. Man, there's so many now. You know how the traditional old school comedian was like household names you knew, they would have a special every blue moon. But now, because of social media, Instagram, there's a lot of people within the feeds that I think are really funny that they're not household names. They just kind of come up on my popular page. I'll watch skits, and it's a cool time. I feel like if you don't have the resources or the outlet or the connections to, if you're gifted and you got a cell phone, you got a shot.
If you're funny, if you're good, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's like super cool.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what you got?
Like right along with the social media thing, are there a lot of like how do you feel about people that release small things, but like they don't have an album, they can't do or at this point they haven't yet, and they're popping off, like they're huge and getting all this notoriety, and it's like, man, you couldn't perform a show.
Yeah. Because you don't have the material. Like
you don't have the material. You don't have like, what's your feeling about social media versus reality in the rap space?
The real right now and what it's been, at least the past couple of years, like it is what used to be like, man, that's not real. It used to be like, and I know you're talking about music, but I'm gonna switch it a little bit. It would be like, she's not a real model. She's just an Instagram model. Well, now the Instagram models are making more than the runway models, and it's not even close. They're getting the endorsements. They're getting all of this backing by these big entities and brands that the cover model that's on a runway that's built like what we deem as a traditional model is trying to figure out how they're going to get their next meal. So it's a crazy thing. And I look at the music component, the artistry is almost like the same way. It's like you have somebody that this person is the truth. They play keys, they rap, they sing, they songwrite. Like they're just this extremely talented being, right? But you can have somebody that has his friend beating on the table and somebody kicks a freestyle to it. It goes viral, and next thing you know, they're on tour with Drake. It's like, what? Like, what just happened? Like, yeah. What a time to be alive, man, in that regard. So, I mean, the way I feel about it, I just feel like this is our time on earth. Like, we are all characters, like, in scripture. This is our run. This is what it is while we're here. So let's just make the best of it, right? And live it out. I don't take offense to it. I mean, it's like when you are somebody that has been in it for a long time and, been working hard at it, had some success and all of that, but you have somebody pop off really, really quick just like that in there on the Grammys. It's tough. It's tough, but I get it. I understand it, and I'm thankful. I look at it like I get to live in this era, That's my take. What are your thoughts?
No, it's just interest. Like
how do you feel? Like I'll reverse it. Like how would you feel if somebody just becomes the most famous magician? He's 21. He did a magic trick in his kitchen and it took off on TikTok. And now he has a show on ABC that everybody loves and is getting all these views. And you've been grinding for so long and have had a great deal of success, but not to that level.
It can be tough when it's fresh. One of my mentors said that life is like an ocean, and everyone's going to catch their waves, and you can be one or two people, because you're going to have your wave, and then you're going to have your paddling out, and then there's going to be a time where you're paddling in and you're going to ride another wave, and that's how life works. And when I heard
that's a bar. That's a clip. That's a clip. Thank you for doing that on the hat to the back. That was a bar. That's real.
When I heard that though, it changed the whole game about like that jealousy thing. And then I try to wish whoever that person would be well, because I've seen people have that success real quick and then it's not sustainable. They pop off, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, now they're always chasing this high of when they popped off, and like, no, your wave went out and now you're trying to go somewhere that doesn't exist anymore. That wave is gone.
Yeah. That's tough, man. Like, especially, I'm trying to think if I'm somebody and I view this content later and I fit that bill, like somebody that went through that, lived that, had that high of just the explosion, and you're chasing that forever.
Yeah. That's why a lot of child stars have problems, right? Is they started up here.
It's only one way to go.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. I don't know. I mean, like the late great Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Like I would always like wonder as a kid when I would see like grown Michael Jackson, but then listen to like Jackson 5 when he was a kid. And I just remember thinking like, man, I kind of like him more when he was the younger he was. Like, man, like he was like super talented. But then the flip side of that, it was like, man, like if they had to either get their behinds beat or dance well and sing well, they went through that. So it was like when he became a teenager and an adult, and it's like, I don't think he could have been normal. Like, how could you? It makes sense that he had a theme park at his house. Like, you didn't have a child. He didn't get to go to Six Flags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, although I think it's great, would I want to be him? I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, although it would be kind of cool to do a show in like Germany and people are crying and passing out and being taken away by ambulance like he was. But yeah,
those experiences are, yeah, it's wild, because it's like, oh man, it would be so cool to do these things, get these opportunities, but at what cost? You know.
Let me ask you this. What are you most proud of at this point in your life? Like, if you gotta like highlight one thing, like what are you most proud of?
Probably my family and like my close community, like my close circle of people that that love me and support me, that I love and support them. It's my close relationships that, I think that's the weird thing about being a magician, is the thing that I do is inherently a secret. So the people that are close to me know me and care about me for me. That's the most important thing in my life. The pandemic, like all of a sudden it was like, whoa, that's all we have.
That's it.
Is our relationships, our people, you know, and so, you know, there's things in my career that I'm proud of, that I'm like.
I think it speaks volumes to the man you are and your character. I intentionally asked that question in broad fashion. You could have took it anywhere, you know, that you want, any direction. And the fact you chose to highlight family, friends, like the things that like money can't buy, not something from your career that was a rush. You know what I mean? Like for you to go to like, you know, like where you're rooted is really dope. Yeah, that's super cool.
What about for you, man?
I'm proud of being able to couple things. Mainly live a lot of people, you know, can't even say that anymore, right? But to still be walking this earth, have experiences that I know a lot of people will never have the opportunity to experience. Being able to live some of that out. The mountains, right? A lot I'm proud of on that front, but the valleys, like I'm learning to be proud of and appreciative of all the things I go through in the valley. But overall, just still being able to be here and have wisdom stemming from things that I've been through, you know, is really everything. And I feel like when I come across younger individuals that have a lot of potential that just, you know, need like that battery in their back, or younger individuals who you know, just have it, whatever that is. Like, I want to not just support them, but give them the pros and cons to different things, to different decisions, to if you don't have God as your foundation, what that looks like, how you can fall into deception, how, you know, you can be lured into all these things that are polar opposite of being of Christ if you're not rooted. So, man, I'm just proud of still being somebody that is here, living, breathing, able to contribute to the kingdom, able to, you know, love on people, pour into other people, and you know, I still have a chance to live out my purpose. You know, that's what I'm proud of.
That's huge. Live out your purpose. Like there are so few people. I talk about that at the end of the show. I say I'm so, and I mean it. I get goosebumps literally every show. I've done almost 100 shows this year, and every show I get goosebumps when I say I am doing the thing that I love doing since I was 12 years old because you came, and I don't take that for granted. And still, like,
Yeah, that's fire.
so few people
That's fire.
get
That's
to
hard.
say that.
Yeah.
So few people can say they do what they love. Like,
That's tough. So
no.
I feel like you don't want to take our money here. At the head to the back. We need this magic trick. Is there something that you could do right here on set, or
Yeah. Can I show you a couple things?
yeah, what you got?
I feel like we've been talking long enough. So I'm what they call a purist. That means how much of this is in frame? Like, has this been in frame the whole time? Yes. It has been, so they've seen both decks of cards? Yes. Okay. I just don't know. Okay, so I'm what they call a purist, which means everything that I do is with a normal deck of cards. You can open them up if you want.
Oh wow. So I've always wanted to do like this piece where it's like if I get to open the cards, I know that you can't try to finesse me or slide in an extra queen of heart or something.
Yeah, yep. You're getting like
All right.
so brand new deck of playing cards. You can open up, look through the playing cards. It's
Oh, I'm gonna look through them. Let's see.
there's two
Do
extras.
you need this?
Yeah, you can just throw that away. That's fine.
All right, cool. Let's make sure these are real. Can I keep the jokers in?
If you want to, it's up to you.
Yeah, it's legit.
Okay, you can shuffle it if you want to. That's probably if you're like this is something I've always wanted to do.
He's about to mess up
then
his trick, letting me do all this.
maybe I don't know. I'm going on an edge here.
There you go.
All right. So, from upstate New York, my dad worked for this big company. My mom actually owned a before she met my dad, she owned a boutique coffee shop, like before Starbucks and stuff. Like it was this cute little shop, and married my dad, moved from Canada to New York, and I was homeschooled. So like I had a vast social tool belt and an abundance of friends growing up. That's sarcasm.
I was like, okay, maybe he had like some boys and girls club like outside of the homeschooling. Okay.
No. No. So I spent all my time like learning how to do magic tricks. So this is just me being like literally all my friends were stuffed pandas and we played Monopoly together. That was growing up.
Okay.
But so we've got 52 different cards, and then you have a very important job.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Pick out a card?
Did you just read my mind?
I think I did.
I think you just read my. Now I'm a little intimidated because I feel like you've got some magic yourself.
What do you got? What do I got to do?
You get to pick a card. Yeah. If you would just pick a card, any card, it's your choice.
Will it mess you up if I take the top card?
Do you want to take the top card?
Let me take that one.
You can take the top card. Yeah. Look at it, memorize it, and then write your name on it. And I'm going to pull out one card as well.
Write my name on it like with a Sharpie?
Yeah, sign your name on it. Usually, I mean, it doesn't matter if I see the card, but like people have a superstition that it matters if I see the card. Do you care if I see what card you pick?
I don't care.
Now I know what card you pick.
Well, let me pick another one.
Do you want to
pick another one?
Okay. Yeah. You can actually look through and grab anyone.
Grab anyone I want. Okay. That I like. Okay. I got it. So I'm going to write my name on this, and you're not going to see it.
I'm not going to look at it. Write your name on it. And then for everyone else at home, Ace of Diamonds goes on top of the deck, which is very important. Ace of Diamonds on top of the deck. And then I'm just going to, for your chord, Ace of Diamonds goes on top of the deck. For your card, I'm just going to flip through, and if you would tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Here?
Right there.
Are you sure?
Right there, I'm sure.
Okay. I can go one more. I can go one less. I can go two more, two less.
One more.
One more.
One more.
One. Yes?
Yes.
Happy?
Yes.
Decisive. Okay. So place your card right here. And then very important question. Do you remember which card I put on top of the deck?
Yes.
It was the Ace of Diamonds. Great. I work for a lot of college kids. They're like, I don't remember. I don't remember, man. All right. So if you would hold your hand out just like this, and we're going to take the Ace of Diamonds and place your other hand on top of it, just like this. They say that the hand is quicker than the eye, but you would feel it if I tried to pull the Ace of Diamonds out of your hand.
Of course.
Now, here's the really cool part. Would you believe me if I told you as I was flipping through the cards, I was counting each individual card and I know the exact number that you told me to stop on, which tells me where in the deck of cards your card is?
No, that's not possible.
It's not possible?
Mm-mm.
That's not possible.
It's not possible.
You stopped at 20 and you added 1.
Can you prove it?
Okay. Keep me honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's not magic. That's me listening to where you told me to stop counting, and 5 years of no social life. Hold the ace of diamonds nice and tight on the count of 3. 1, you're going to feel some heat. 2, do you feel that? What card were you holding?
The ace of diamond. Man, what? Bro, what is going on? That's crazy. That's wild. Josh Farley. Now that's really wild. How'd you do it? What's the secret sauce?
Talking about God, magic earlier. It's
If
obviously
you told me
demons.
you'd have to kill me.
It's it's the only way. I mean, really, it's got to be.
That's
it's
crazy.
the only plausible answer. Just demons.
I looked at the card, like while it was in my hand. How did this card get in my hand? Okay.
You want to see one more?
One more.
So I told you that I'm a purist. Everything I do is with a normal deck of playing cards, right? Which is true, except for when it's not. These are what they call marked cards. So are you familiar with the concept of marked cards?
Kind of, sort of, from the movies.
Yeah. Magicians, card cheats use marked cards. If you're going to use marked cards, you don't mark them this aggressively, but it tells people what the cards are. But for all intents and purposes, this is still a normal deck of playing cards. But what people don't realize is that it takes skill to read the markings on the cards, right? If we're successful in this, I'm going to hypnotize you to have the ability to read the markings on the card.
Okay.
And we're going to do a magic trick.
Okay.
Okay. So 52 different cards. Are we only at the wide angle right now? Yes. 52 different cards the way they come from the factory. Ooh. I just haven't done that yet. I love doing that. If you would just touch, I'm going to go through the cards, just touch a playing card, and I'll show the camera. That one?
That one.
You can pull it out and show the camera. All right. Place it back. Now, you're familiar enough with hypnosis. The hypnotist says, snorkel, everyone barks like a dog. That's not gonna happen. But the the catalyst of you being able to read the marked cards is going to be the sound of them shuffling. So instead of snorkel, you're going to hear this sound. And if it works, it's truly amazing. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Breathe in and breathe out.
Amazing. Bro, what did you just do?
Does it say it once or does it say it twice?
It says it twice.
Oh, twice. Okay. That's fine. We have to correct that. Double vision is a very common symptom of skill transference.
Okay. Fair.
Breathe in one more time. Breathe out. And if we get it just right. It's kind of amazing.
What in the world? That's crazy. I'm kind of spooked out.
But that whole hypnosis thing, for you to be able to read the cards, that's just a bit. That's kind of that's bullshit.
It's not really hypnosis.
It's not hypnosis, but what if I told you that I did actually just hypnotize you? Not to read the word amazing, but you saw the cards were all mixed up a moment ago, right?
Correct.
What if I hypnotized you to believe that every single one of these cards has now rearranged themselves in brand new deck order?
I would say you're full of it.
If that were possible. If that were possible. This would be the Ace of Hearts. This would be the Two of Hearts, the 3, the 4, all of our hearts. Clubs, diamonds, and spades.
That is sick. Scary. That's wild.
Which might be amazing. But we still haven't found your card. You picked a card, right? Do you remember the card you picked?
I think so.
Breathe in. Breathe out. What was the card? What was the card?
I don't know. You tell me. Bro, what? Look at that. It was an 8 of spades. That's sick. That's magic. Either that or
Demons.
demons. Demons.
Oh,
Man, look, check it out, Josh. Like, thank you, brother, for blessing us with your presence, man. I think that we went in a couple different directions that I didn't expect us to go, which is awesome. So I appreciate you being vulnerable with the platform and blessing us, you know, with your presence, man. Like, so you're always welcome on the hat to the back. You know, we just thank you.
Thank you. This has been a blast.
Oh, man.
Appreciate you, man. It's been great.
And we out.